Hi, my name is Miriam Hoffman. I'm a graduate student in the Distance Learning Program at the International Center for Studies in Creativity at SUNY Buffalo. I study the science of creativity and innovation. My particular interest in this subject was piqued by a couple of things. First of all, I suffered a significant concussion while I was in a taxi accident, December 2007, the corner of Congress in Michigan. The cab I was in was turning left onto Michigan just by the bronze horses at the entrance to the park when we were struck by an oncoming speeding car. The point of impact was the rear passenger door where I was sitting. I flew across the car just because I'd gone to a Tai Chi class earlier that morning. I kept thinking, move in circles, which I did, avoiding going through the opposite window. For the next year, I was in physical therapy where I learned to walk straight again and do most everything I had done before, but definitely I was changed. I had severe dizziness, tinnitus, chronic fatigue during most of this time. So I laid around quite a bit and I watched a lot of television. I noticed a lot of news stories about soldiers coming back from Afghanistan and Iraq with much the same symptoms I had, and as I started to recover, I often sought out these soldiers through the news media outlets and told them what I had been doing in my own recovery in hopes that it might help them too. I continued to volunteer at various veterans hospitals for the last, what is that now, almost 6 years. So years ago, I worked at the Clinical Research Center at the University of Iowa when I was in undergrad school as a food technician. I worked on some of the early dietary blood serum cholesterol studies and other food-related studies. But by a stroke of luck, and a teacher who noticed I could write, I would have probably ended up in the medical field rather than going into English and art, which eventually led me to a career in show business, in wardrobe, in theater, film, commercials, and photography. I ended my career in this past May, after an 8-year stint with Wicked, the Broadway show, 4 years here in Chicago, and 4 years on the road, traveling through 44 states with my two Shelties, Barack Odoga and Lucy, and always thinking that I would come up with some kind of third act, that I wouldn't end my life working in show business. So when the show was in Buffalo, I attended a creativity conference and I was hooked. I thought, this is my third act. So the science of creativity, as they teach it there, is centered around innovation and brainstorming. Last fall, I took a class in measures and development of creativity, where my love for research was rekindled. With the help of my professor, John Carver, I started thinking about incorporating my work with the veterans, my volunteer work, with my love of research. I'm still in the beginning stages of developing all this. What I hope to do is to work with traumatic brain injury patients, particularly in the VA, using a set of cognitive task tools that I'm working on, much the same as the tools that they use in creative problem solving. It is my hope that this will enable them to recover some skills and speed up their rehabilitation. I've developed a few tools that are informally in use now with some people who are patients and some practitioners I happen to know. As far as what I want to learn in this class, it's my hope that in this class and in 473, I will develop research skills to make what I'm doing truly meaningful with traumatic brain injuries, so as to deepen the cognitive research that I do as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the whole certificate here at UIC. My overall plan is still kind of nebulous. My only classwork in statistics was in measures and assessment, mostly interpreting results from existing research. This past summer, I went to summer school at UCLA in the Brain Mind Wellness Institute, and I took a class in personal brain management where we had to do a self-monitoring project and write a research paper exploring our findings. I'm still looking for a PhD program to work this all. I haven't found anybody to study with really, because most work in creativity is centered around eminently creative genius people and not so much about brain injury. People seem to be kind of scared of it, and the rehab is pretty much focused in occupational therapy, which really doesn't interest me so much. I really want to use cognitive skills to develop a framework to help TBI patients, much the same as I did with myself. I'm going to post what I wrote, all of the stuff that I wrote, which is a little clearer. I can't wait to get started on this. I've, been reading inexhaustibly. It fascinates me so much to look at research and to think about actually doing my own stuff and getting that all together. Thanks so much.